Learning Flat by your local friendly music teacher. Yeah, so we are learning flat. This is software that the board provided to us so that you could be writing notes more easily digitally online for your lessons, the theory stuff that we're doing and so on. And in order to learn it, we have a task / assignment for you to do today. And it's literally just copying something. Okay, so you're going to learn that. I'm going to show you the steps. We're going to go into the software in a second and do that. And in the lesson, there's going to be a link to the sheet that you have to duplicate. It looks like this. And so you'll notice that there's 2 different instruments you're going to have to input, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so before we go to flat, let me show you where to find this assignment. So in order to find the file that you're going to be working on, you're going to go to Google Classroom, whether you're in grade 11 or 12, wherever everyone's doing the same thing because we're learning the software and that the process is the same. So you're going to go to your Google Classroom, go to classwork, and in the assignments or hand-in section, there's a Learning Flat assignment 1. You're going to go there and click on it. And that'll take you to a file. Once you log in, I gave you the login and passwords to your Music First Classroom accounts. If you're not able to log in, let me know. I believe you might be able to even use your DSBN usernames and accounts, emails and account or passwords through the signing in through Google. But let me know if you have an issue actually signing in. But once you click on that assignment, it'll take you to something that looks like this. All right, so this is flat. Along the top here, you have different things you can do. For example, these are all the different types of notes you can input. You can add different things here, but we're not going to touch those, at least not now. We might touch the measure thing in terms of adding and deleting measures and so on. So note and measure are the only real tabs we're worrying about right now because I've set this up for you. I've set this up with the violin and the piano. So be sure to have either a printout of the sheet that I gave you in the lesson for what you need to copy. Make sure you have the printout beside you or have that opened up in a different tab so you can go back and forth. You're going to have to figure out what's the best solution for you based on what you're doing at home. Okay, so now you can change the title by clicking on it. If you want, you can just have it say Learning Flat like it does on the sheet. I'm not so worried about the title. But in here, how do you start inputting notes? Well, of course, you're going to go to the note up here and you have to find the various types of notes. For example, in the violin, you'll notice that there is a quarter rest, and then a half note. So these 2 first quarter rests here in the violin, I'm not going to touch them. So I can select this quarter rest, select the half note, and click where that note is, which is on the second space. Now I'm going to go down here and click where that next E is, but it didn't put the type of note that I want. So I can either select that again, or I can go left arrow on the keyboard and then change this to a whole note and then keep on going. I'm just like literally clicking where they go. Now the thing is that you might, I made a mistake, right? So I can now click and drag on this. Sometimes that happens. So you want to make sure you click one, hit delete, and that's how you get rid of a note. But I can drag this up and down to where I need to. Now, you might be a speed music reader, and what you can do is actually just type in notes. So you'll notice that this quarter rest is already selected. So I can, the next note on my sheet here is an F. So I'm going to type that in. And I can go back to that with my left arrow and just change it to a half note. But here, if you're typing, you'll notice when you hover over the half note here, it has a 2. So I can just type 2. So now I'm using both hands here with the keyboard, and I can go faster. So now I can go over to that last note here hit F. Now I'm back here. Now, I know that on my 5th measure of the violin, these are all 8th notes, or at least most of them are. So I can figure out that an 8th note is a 4. So I can type 4 and now start typing the notes. E, D, D, E, B, E, B. And that one is going to be different. So I can go back with my left arrow and change it to a quarter note and so on. So that's how I would start putting them in, either by clicking in here and dragging any mistakes or hitting delete and restarting or whatever. In the piano, the only other tricky part here are these chords. So in the bottom there, I'm going to click over here. We know it's a half note chord. So if I click there, I can just enter all the notes in. Or if you're typing, I can, since this half note here is selected already, you can tell that with the blue, I can hit A, then hold the shift key down, C, and E. Now the E, it chose a different octave, so I'm just going to drag that up. But by holding the shift key down, it creates chords for me. Now, if you're like me, you like to be productive, you like to figure out shortcuts. So I can go to measure over here, click on this measure, and if I hold the shift key down, I can kind of click at the end of the measure and I select it all. I can go up here and say copy, because some of these chords are the same, like this next measure. So I click in the next measure and now I hit paste. That's almost pretty much the only time that happens. But my point is that if you learn some of these tools, you can help yourself. So that's what you're going to do. Now, I am a teacher and I don't have the same access as you do. Like you don't have the access I do and so on. When you're working on this, because you went through Google Classroom, there's going to be a turn in button up here. And when you're done, you're going to hit turn in and that goes back to me and so on. Now, sometimes some students will get a little error message. Oh, no. You can hit turn in again, but usually the error message is like a false one. It still works. I still get it. But just know that like I haven't even saved anything and this is automatically saving for me. So a minute ago, it saved all my work. So if you really can't get it to me, at least it's still saved in your flat and we can go back. You can write me, we can go back and I can show you other ways to hand it in. But usually hitting turn in will work. Okay, so have fun. That's how you do it. Copy the whole sheet in, and at the end, let's say you're done and you have this empty measure. Make sure you go to measure at the up the top here. Click here. You can say remove this measure on the minus button, and then it takes away the empty measure that you might have at the end of your music. Okay, enjoy.